feel is the fact Lyndon Johnson knew about the assassination and was a part of it.
So we have Billy Saul Estes pointing the finger at his old business associate, Lyndon Johnson, for multiple murders by his henchmen, resulting in a murder indictment against Johnson by the state of Texas in 1984. We have Bobby Baker and his illicit work in the Congress to perpetrate blackmail of its members to support Johnson legislation and to set up a money pipe back to Johnson for his enrichment while being shielded by Baker. We have Big Oil, now unimpeded from its worldwide scrounging of product, with high levels of free profit from oil depletion allowances. We have a thriving military-industrial complex that can go to war in Vietnam with Lyndon over unproven acts in the Gulf of Tonkin in 1964. We have an army of dirty tricksters, the CIA, to quiet or strengthen any conflict in the world. Blood, Money, and Power is a late-life expose on Lyndon Johnson from part of his legal team in the 1960s, attorney Barr McClellan, who witnessed and learned a lot about his firm's most prized client, Johnson, including his kickbacks, murders, and ballot manipulation. JFK and the Unspeakable by James Douglas covers Kennedy's position and the forces working against him to culminate in the coup to replace him in 1963, showing a great understanding of motive. And John Perkins' Confessions of an Economic Hitman is a personal story of a U.S. manipulation of world resources to its favor in the 1960s and thereafter, pointing out the treacherous CIA jackals whose assassinations would change national policy in third world nations for the benefit of U.S. corporations. Key relationships shed more light on the backdrop of the Kennedy assassination. Richard Nixon, for instance, started working for Prescott Bush in 1946 and was rewarded by key Eastern conservative backing for his election to the U.S. Congress that year. His splashy anti-communist witch hunt in Congress got him the Republican nomination for vice president under Dwight E. Eisenhower, shown here working with Prescott Bush, who had considerable influence on Ike. That witch hunt was aided by Nixon detective Jack Ruby, who later surfaces in the Kennedy assassination. Nixon's work in preparation for the Bay of Pigs assault while vice president shows his connection to Frank Sturgis and E. Howard Hunt, who were later also shown to be involved in the Kennedy assassination. Nixon used the same dirty tricksters in his Watergate break-in, for which he lost the presidency. J. Edgar Hoover vacationed 10 years in a row at Clint Murchison's summer vacation home in Del Mar, California, as a guest and friend, and brought his lover Clyde Tolson with him. He was also a neighbor and close friend of Lyndon Johnson for years, and the two dined together quite often before Kennedy even became president. Kennedy was going to retire Hoover and drop Johnson in his second term. Jack Ruby implicated Johnson in the murder of Kennedy around the time of his trial.
Everything pertaining to what's happening has never come to the surface. The world will never know the true facts of what occurred, my motives. The people that had so much to gain and had such an ulterior motive for putting me in a position I'm in will never let the true facts come above board to the world.
Now these people are in very high positions, Jack?
Yes.
Based upon the information presented, we could sketch a draft command structure for the assassination of John Kennedy. Additional facts are available linking these parties. This would be the initial fleshing out of the covert plutocracy that Kennedy identified as a large cohesive force structure with all disciplines that was attempting to take over the world by covert means during his time frame. At the top level, Prescott Bush, Ed Clark, Clint Murchison, H.L. Hunt, and the defense establishment, with some contractors and some military, were involved. G.H.W. Bush was involved in the Bay of Pigs with his connection to Felix Rodriguez and Richard Nixon, who had connections to the street gang directly responsible for the assassination. We'll stop here and defer to the assassination event itself and the cover-up for more detail on this superstructure. The people within were in favor of JFK's death and the ascension of Lyndon Johnson, who would advance their cause.